So there are connections that, as I go into education, that I want to happen. One connection to this career is I want to one day teach fourth grade. And one thing that you know is, and when you go into an upper grade, the development of the child changes. Kids are at that age about to go into adolescence. And so, one of the things that they start wondering about is their social skills and how people feel about them. And making friends is very important, and being included in the group and being cool is very important. So, as a teacher, I want to know the ins and outs of making sure that student is confident, that they know how to stand up for themselves, that they know how to be a friend, that they know how to share, and they know how to become educated on things in the world and are just always on top of things in the fourth grade. So it'll make it easier when they get into middle school. I remember being a middle school sub and seeing how there's so many things that they deal with when they're going through adolescence. So I want to start in fourth grade, giving them some of those keystones to develop as they go into the fifth and the sixth grade. Another thing, as a special education assistant, I learned a lot about behaviors, and I had to deal with many behaviors. And so, through my professional experience, I find that we need to find ways of curtailing different behaviors, of knowing how to discipline and giving discipline that is going to actually be effective and not be effective. You can't have a bully and offer them candy. There's got to be some consequences and things that have to happen in order to teach them that bullying is wrong and that behaviors are wrong. So we need to find ways to give that discipline and give those incentives to make them a better student, to teach them to be respectful to other students and make this so it is a community, because these kids will eventually go out into the world, and these are the kids that are going to be taking care of me and us when we get older. So I want to have people that are respectful, that have a mind, and that are confident. Another thing that this actual practicum topic did for me was it actually taught me about networking. um, Throughout my master's degree, it's been kind of like a box. I felt like I was in a box because you just took a class, you learned the things about teaching in that box, and you went out and you tried it in your classroom, which is good. But one thing that I found throughout this degree also is that you need to meet colleagues, you need to meet teachers, not only in one school, but in other schools, because many schools are different. One thing I liked was when I was a sub is I got to go into all the different schools in the city of Madison and around in the surrounding communities such as McFarland, Monona, went all the way to Watertown one time to see what their actual policies and procedures were like and how their children were. And it just gave me a lot of insight into how behaviors are and how things work in different places. So you got a lot of networking. I met a lot of different teachers, a lot of different subs, a lot of different counselors and principals and administrators, so that I could build on those things that I learned. Some were really good, some were not. And I know which things I really wanted to have and which things I didn't. I actually knew which schools to go to and which ones not to go to. And I really thought that was good networking and taught me a lot. Another connection that I found to my career goal is discipline. Many teachers discipline different. What's great about a lot of my subbing and professional experiences, I got to work, co-teach with other teachers, and I saw discipline that I liked and thought was effective, and ones that I just thought were not effective at all or were just didn't make any sense. You had schools where they had a system of discipline where maybe they had to come to the front of the class and apologize to the class for their disrupting class, things of that sort, or they had to do had certain manners and procedures that they had to go through for discipline. But what I found a lot of times was it was that one-on-one experience that you have with that child that really is the discipline. If you make them feel confident, if you gain that rapport with the child, if they see that you really care and are passionate about what they're doing, that it makes it more meaningful and they will remember that time with them, and it make them not want to have that behavior again. So they're actually learning a discipline that they can pass on to their children. Future professional endeavors. I see this as one day maybe taking this on the road, going to teach other people about what I know about kindergartners and bullying and behaviors in this educational world. I see that happening. I have always wanted to be a facilitator in a conference one day, talking about something that is not popular, but is innovative in education. And I believe that this possibly could be, especially with the influx of bullying that we're seeing in schools, because kids are just not taught like they used to be about manners, about how to treat people that are elders to them, or just how to treat people in general. It's something that we need to go back to. And I think this is a future professional endeavor.